So that's my bald side, my Coutihno side.
Both my sides are going bald now.
Got a massive Coutihno.
Hello folks, welcome back to the Team 95 Athlete podcast. We're on episode 112 now. 112. It's almost impossible to remember the number. But as you can see, we're not in the confines of my office. We're here in Dundee at the Bee Inspired store, which has been not open too long now.
Open since April, I think.
April,
yeah. Full summer we've had at it. So
cool. And that's your third store.
This is the second store at the moment. So there's more plans in place we can talk about.
Yeah, cool. With this podcast, like it's usually fitness related, you know, nutrition. There's a little bit of football. I've had a few footballers on and things like that, but I'm quite interested in like all three angles of this. It's the football, it's the business, and it's kind of just like the day-to-day stuff that you do to make that work.
Yep.
So the first question I wanted to ask you is like, what does an actual week in the life look like for you? Like, what's this week look like?
This week, we've just announced our third store in Leeds, and then next week we're going to be announcing Glasgow Fort and Nottingham as well. So this week's been, for me, I've had full focus on the Leeds store.
Right.
So that's the bonus thing about my job, and the whole week's the same.
Right. Okay.
So normally we have like a Monday, would be a team meeting in the office, full squad in, would be marketing. We've just hired a new chief commercial officer. So he's coming to the business with a strategy plan for the next 3 years. So working really closely with him. So yeah, we've got the product development team in there, along with the warehouse and the customer service staff. So they're all in that office on a Monday. So it's good to have everybody together on the Monday, discuss what's going on, what's the plans for the week are, and then that just kind of like then leads on to right what's needing done this week. So some weeks it can be photo shoots, some weeks it can be right, we need to rearrange the stores now. There's new releases coming in. There's maybe a sale on. There's just dealing with different things across the business. So
it's quite nice to actually like hear that, because I've obviously read a little bit about you guys, listened to a few podcasts, and it's like come from humble beginnings in terms of the actual business itself. But it kind of started off with football.
Yep.
I was reasonably familiar with your career and Mark as well. But where did it actually like fully begin? Like, as in, not necessarily boys club, but the first kind of like youth gig.
So I was kind of I'd probably say one of the last batches of like S forms at Dundee. I'd been released from Dundee United. I trained with St Johnstone for years, but never actually signed. I was kind of involved in the community, in St Johnstone's community coaching and stuff like that. The kind of player scheme they had there. It wasn't until I kind of went on trial with Dundee, and then Kenny Cameron, whose son's now manager of United. Kenny was the head of youth development at Dundee. I think he'd known me from being at Dundee United, but Ray Farningham, who's been involved in junior football in Dundee as well, he was the youth team coach at Dundee. So I was going in at 15, and I was actually training with the youth team, and I played a couple of games for them, going down to play against Rangers and stuff, and playing kind of 3 years below the age group. I think I kind of done enough for them to maybe take notice, to say, oh, by the way, I think let's go, let's get him in. So it wasn't, I never went full time till I was 17 at Dundee. I'd done my hires at Blackgowrie High School, so I quite enjoyed school. So I wasn't in too much of a hurry. I was a bit of a late developer as well. I was quite small when I was young, so I was never in too much of a hurry. That like, I know you get boys at 16, 17 straight to the first team and stuff now, where it probably wasn't really so much a thing when I broke through it. I would never start playing regularly at Dundee till I was probably 20, 21.
Right. Okay.
I made my debut at 19, but we had like a progression of going 18s, 21s, and then the first team.
Wasn't that anymore.
It's just the boys didn't get the opportunity for that now. So there was we had a massive squad at Dundee at the time. There was probably about like and if you included the first team, 21s and 18, we're talking 80 players. Like that's just when it happened now.
What sort of players were in that team that you broke through into?
Likes of Georgian Zadze, Fabian Caballero. Before that, it was kind of like Caniggia and all, Benetti's. It was actually Vano Benetti that gave him a debut at Dundee. So it was an interesting period that where the foreigners coming in and out the door. Playing for, I really started making a name for myself in the 21 league. Probably it was like, because the good thing about that, there was like probably like 4 or 5 overage players were able to play in the 21s league, so it made it quite competitive, and you were playing at the stadiums as well. So it was always like, like you weren't far away from the first year. You felt you were, if you got a call up to the first team, you were never that far away anyway. So kind of like being alongside, even going to play against Celtic, and you're playing in the reserve against John Hartson and Chris Sutton and Didier Gat and stuff like that. So you were in good company. So
they have kind of. I mean, I must admit, like those sort of years are just where my memory starts. Just the kind of Henrik Larsson, John Hartson, Chris Sutton sort of years. So it's maybe a little bit of a history lesson for me as well. But I understand the football, and I know the kind of history of it, but you don't really seem to get that anymore in terms of like it does feel like such a bigger. You've got to be like a wonder kid at 16, 17 to then go and push into the team. Otherwise, there's a massive gap.
There is a big gap, especially in the boys club. Like I've been coaching my son's boys club team for the last 2 years, under 16s and 17s. But like, there's not an under 18s league anymore, so there's no progression from that to. So what we've actually, if I go into our boys club team, we've got 2, including my son, have went up to Montrose under 18s. So it's been really good because they're actually still able to play at one age group. Whereas there's like probably another 5 out of the team have went now playing at amateur Saturday morning, and there's probably 2 or 3 that have went into juniors. So, but even at 17, the boys aren't probably ready to play juniors just yet. Like there's again, it has to be. It's probably the guys that have maybe dropped out for the senior teams that have gone into the juniors and they can cope. Whereas going for boys club straight in the juniors is tough.
So you literally see it right across our league just now. It's a whole load of like really, really young boys sprinkled with the odd kind of experienced guy. Like I'm 27 and I feel ancient nowadays playing football.
And when I watched the juniors back when I was young, like when I was probably like 13, 14, I used to go and watch Kerry Thistle a lot. I'd watch like Lockheed United quite a bit, and Tapewalk quite a bit. They were all experienced. The teams were really experienced. The boys in their mid to late 20s. Do you know what I mean? It was a team of men. So the juniors has changed over the years.
It has, so you played for Dundee, what, 5 or 6 years?
So when I probably sit in the first team, I'd probably say 3-4 years. I played over 100 games for Dundee, and then Dundee still had financial problems and whatever. And that's probably, see if I'm honest, that probably gave me my opportunity at Dundee. I was on loan at Rick Rovers at the time and got called back. Dundee went to administration, and straight away I got a chance playing in the first team, which is like it benefited me. So it was obviously a misfortune for a lot of people. It was really tough at the time where any company or club that goes into administration, it's really tough for staff and players and stuff like that, and fans as well, to be fair. So I was at Dundee, and then the second time around they'd had a bit of financial trouble, and they wanted me to take a bit of a wage cut, but I had an opportunity to go and play elsewhere, and they said, "Look, we're not standing in the way. If you want to go anywhere, then you can go and play. Like, we'll take a percentage of a sell-on fee," but there was never any of that anyway. So
and that's just a little walk along the road, was it?
There was a walk along the road to United. Grew up in the United fan, so all my family were United fans, so it was just kind of one of those that meant quite a bit to everybody. So there was maybe, looking back, it probably wasn't the best career choice for me, but like I didn't regret it. I went there and I played in a really good side United team at that period, where the likes of Craig Conway and Gomez, Bobbin, Barry Robson, Calvinez.
That's my memory of you playing football.
Really good on the United side. So I think there was a lot of, you're always injured. When I was at United, I had a couple of hernia operations. I got my groin off the bone, dislocated my shoulder, but it wasn't. I was there for 2 years, but just trying to get back into the team when you're fit. It wasn't. So it made the injuries look as if I was out for longer, because I wasn't because the squad was so strong. Played loads of reserve games. We'd actually done away fine. Tony Docherty was actually our reserve manager, Dundee manager. You can tell Doc's going to be a good manager, good coach.
You can tell.
You can just tell. So, and I could tell back then that he was really good with the boys. That I think the boys that play reserve football, they can get a bit annoyed and stuff like that. But
you can tell that current Dundee team wants to run through brick walls for him. So it's
sure.
a good sign.
Yeah, for sure.
So, was there much in between that to the move over to Thailand?
I was at St Mirren for 3 years.
That's right, St Mirren, yeah.
I was at St Mirren for 3 years. Loved it there. Great, really good dressing room. Good bunch of boys. Off the top of my head, Billy Mehmet, John Potter, Jack Ross. The managers, the coaching staff were great as well. Gus McPherson and Andy Millen. Just really Dennis, Craig Dargo, Dennis Winans. These boys. So a lot of these boys would maybe come towards the end of their career at the time.
Yeah.
But I went in there 26. Yeah, 26. So I was kind of like
still a lot to give.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it there. Really good. I met like some good boys and still keep in touch with that. So that was kind of where I met my business partner. He just left St Mirren.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark went to Thistle, I think, as I joined St Mirren. But we're kind of in the same friend circle.
Yeah.
We stayed on the same street. I ended up eventually moving in to his flat, and we shared the flat for a bit. So then that led on to moving to Thailand.
Yeah. So how did that actually come about? Was that like an agent job, or is that something?
I'd say an agent job. I actually had aspirations to be an agent myself when I come towards the end of my career. I was quite into that thing. I probably wasn't quite ruthless enough, if I'm honest, because I think you have to be pretty thick-skinned and pretty ruthless to be an agent. So I'd been networking, kind of like, I've always been into that kind of like social media networking. I got in touch with a coach / agent who had moved to Thailand, and he was assistant manager at a team called Thai Port. Got chatting to him, sent him like at the time DVDs. I made a YouTube video, sent it over to him, and he forwarded on to different coaches in the league as well as his own team. So they came back to me and said, "Look, do you fancy coming over? And we'll have a look at you. And here's what we can offer you. If like, look, we want to sign you, but we need to check that."
Yeah.
Like, because the
DVD could have made you look like Pele.
Yeah, pretty much. No matter what the kind of like the Asian countries and the teams that are there, they'll trial everybody. It doesn't matter if they'll no sign boys off the bat. They want to have a look at you first. And so anybody will say, "Turn and say, I'm not trialing. I don't need to trial." It's like, nah, you do it. Yeah. If money's tight on their side, then they're going to give everybody a 2-year contract that they can't get rid of you. Yeah. So
what was the kind of setup out there? You don't really hear too much about that league.
It's kind of out of sight.
Isn't
it? It was honestly the Southeast Asian leagues are Vietnamese, Singapore League, Thai League. I think what else? To be fair, there'd be the Lao, Cambodia leagues. They're all pro leagues. They've got. I think there was actually more professional teams in Thailand than there was in Scotland.
Right. Okay.
Maybe not. If you went further, but like League One, I'm just trying to think. Thai Premier League had 16 teams in it, I think, and then you had League 1, League 2, and then it split off into regional.
Right.
But there was loads of regional teams. But these boys were getting paid as well.
Yeah.
Not part-time, like part-time football.
Yeah. How was the humidity over there?
Yeah,
there must have been.
That was the first 6 months was probably like, what the hell am I doing here? Well, pretty much, even after 2 weeks, I was like, I can't play here. This is ridiculous. Like, it was just so hot that like put sun cream on. It was like 39 degrees like when I arrived. So I remember when my first start was at 4 o'clock, and I got out and the scoreboard had the temperature was 47 degrees on it. Like, so it was just like the coach that I think 2 games after that, Mike pulled me in and he said, "Look, see the 4 o'clock games, you're not going to play. I'm going to wait till you see away games, because all our games were at home at 4 o'clock because they were waiting on upgrading floodlights till the second half of the season." And it wasn't until maybe 6 months in that I started playing more regularly, just like starting to show what I could do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I loved the setup. I stayed in the same team for 3 years.
Yeah,
loved
okay.
it.
No, that's class.
Great life experience. I kind of recommend anybody to travel when they're young, because there's just so much out there that.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I went out to Australia to not necessarily just to play football, but it was a big part of it was playing football. We didn't quite get those temperatures, but like similar type thing. And it was the experience of going out and playing with like, I played for a team that was like, first of all, it was like a Greek team, and you had like Brazilians, Argentinians, like Irish boys, Scottish boys, just an absolute selection of boys playing in their like futsal trainers and stuff like that. Who you would just some of the things they could do with the ball, you're just like bewildered.
We had a mixture. We had the Koreans. We actually had a North Korean and a South Korean. My mate Kim Ba, we used mid-20s, I reckon. Maybe 25, 26. And we signed this guy from North Korea on loan from a Chinese team. And he was probably in his 30s. And for a couple of days before it, Kim was a bit nervous, worried. I said, "What are you worried about?" He's like, "I've never met anybody from North Korea." And I was like, "What? Mate, you're 20." I know, but it's like total. We're not allowed to get our photos taken together. Or I'm not allowed to speak to him. He's not allowed to speak to me. Proper like, and it's just like, it's mad how different cultures are. Like,
I knew there were pretty mad cultures over there, but I didn't know it was
like
that level.
When they came in, like it wasn't like that. It was literally like they speak to each other and they realise, oh, we actually speak exactly the same language. There was no friction or nothing. They didn't hang about together, but there was, it was interesting. But again, in the team with the African boys, Brazilian boys, Koreans, myself, it was an English lad for a bit. But
it's just an experience, something you wouldn't find if you were just going playing down the road.
Totally. Totally.
Was the trip to Thailand, did you always kind of have like a businessy mind? Was there anything in relation to clothes that you'd even thought about before then, or was that kind of where it sparked a little bit?
I was always interested in like kind of buying and selling more than clothes.
Okay.
I was always into fashion. I was always into like thinking about what I was going to wear. If I was going to night out, I'd really like, I've got that night out, I'm going to get that, I'll go and buy that. I've seen somebody with that, I quite like that. I like that style. Like I would kind of always go with the fashion trends as well. So I was always interested in fashion, but I was more into like the buying and selling type thing. Like I was interested in eBay when I was younger, when it first came out. Kind of jumped on that, and when I went to Thailand, I started like buying t-shirts, just buying random t-shirts on the street and sending them back to my business partner Mark, and he was selling them to boys at Ross County. That's how it started. So just kind of like it was just like a market stall. I'd do it on my day off. I had a wee moped. I used to go up on the moped to the markets and buy the t-shirts with the big graphics on the front of them. It would be like a basketball player with like Marilyn Monroe's head on a basketball player, with the basketball player with tattoos, and just like different celebrities on the front of graphic t-shirts, and send them back to him, and he'd be selling them to the boys in the dressing room, and they were lapping them up. Send us more, and that was how it started.
And did you have the idea for the brand while you were there? Did that not happen until you came back?
No, the idea started when I was there. So when I was doing this, getting the t-shirts on the street, the supplier that I'm buying them off, he was like, "You're buying loads of stuff off me." Yeah, like, and he's like, "Why?" It was an Italian guy that I still keep in touch with just now, and he's like, "Why don't you start your own brand?" Like, and I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, there's a shop here, they'll do like make your own labels, and this shop here does your like swing tickets. I'll do all your t-shirts for me. How we could start with like a low number, small quantities, and then go from there. And that's how it started. Now I went back to Mark, and he's like, "I'm not sure, I don't know, like what will people think?" And it's like, I'm looking back, I'm so glad we just.
What year was this?
Early 2013.
Okay.
So I kind of knew my time was up in Thailand, like football wise. I was getting a bit like, we'd had like 4 or 5 different coaches, and everyone comes in, you have to prove yourself again. And I was like, my son was here, Owen was here at the time, and hadn't seen him for a while, and like I was just kind of looking what's back home for me, like, and it was really tough because I was earning a good wage for in terms of like boys who play full-time football in Scotland. Not so much now, but like at the time it was like I'd needed to go back to St Mirren or a Dundee or Dundee United to match the wages that was on. So you have to then weigh everything up. It's like, well, I'm trying to provide for my family, and it's like, well, what's happening here? Like, so I ended up getting a job back here with a recruitment company called Sport Careers.
Right.
It was Gavin Ray who spoke to
Okay,
me.
yeah.
So Gav was I kept in touch with him over the years. He was in the first team when I was in the youth team at Dundee. And he says, well, I've got this company, do you want to go work for us? I can see what you are obviously starting with Be Inspired, but quite keen to get involved in anything like that. And he actually went on to start his own clothing brand as well with Chris Burke.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they'd started, and they were kind of just like asking me for tips and pointers and stuff like that. But yeah, I was working recruitment. I probably lasted about 3 months in an office job. I was just like, this isn't for me. I came back, signed for Brechin, and then I'd started Be Inspired. So they were my three. I was actually working 3 jobs. Be Inspired was just a hobby at the time, to be fair. So
yeah, they all kind of start out like that, though, don't they?
That's
There was a little side note I wanted to go off on just while you were speaking about this. I spoke to like a few footballers, and it's obviously not be speaking to like professional footballers as such, but like a lot of the guys that have kind of played around the semi-pro game in part-time football. And the big thing that they always speak about is like if they could tell themselves like 10 years ago, it's like have an idea in your head of what's happening after. Which is, it's hard to think of as a 18, 19-year-old.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
You do need to think about that. Is that kind of something that I suppose you were kind of you had ideas as you were coming out of it, but would you be convincing a lot more young footballers to be thinking about that a bit earlier?
Do you know what? If I'm honest, I probably thought about it too much.
Okay, yeah.
So if I look back at my career and go, like, I'd almost felt fortunate to be a footballer.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I wasn't good enough, because I think I was good enough. I believe myself that like I had the ability to, but I probably didn't invest in myself enough to be a footballer. I was almost thinking, oh, what else can I do? Like, what else is there?
Okay, yeah.
So I had like my side interests, like that. Instead of going, I always think, so I'll not mention the players and the players' names or whatever, but like, see, like top players just now that I've spoke to that don't invest in themselves. So somebody that plays for a top team in Aberdeen, like in Scotland, Aberdeen, United, Hibs, Dundee, whatever, even at higher up Celtic or Rangers, like if they don't go and look after themselves or hire a nutritionist or a PT and take a part of their wages and go to think of themselves, I am a business, so how am I going to, because you know, it's like these football boys that can go and play in England can earn an absolute fortune and never have to work again. But see if they were to go and I say it to anybody that in the boys club that I've coached in the last couple of years, or my son Owen now, it's like, see if you sacrifice stuff and put it into yourself, then you'll see the progression, and you keep doing it every day, then you'll see it. And when I played, I done it, but just not quite enough.
Yeah.
I would always say like it's all fine, so I go to the gym 3 times a week. It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's like you have to basically. I used to, after a game on a Saturday, I'd be like, quick, let's eat Chinese now, and or like go out and drink for 2 days, and then go to training on Monday, and then been partying with mates all weekend, and think I've got a game on the following Saturday, and think I'd be all right for it.
Yeah.
It's just like if people who, if say you play for Aberdeen and you're getting £3,000 a week, probably might not be getting that. If you spent £200 a week of that money on somebody to look after your fitness, and there's loads of boys out there who do it,
yeah,
and your health to make you a better player, that would potentially get you a move to Cardiff or like Derby County or a team in the Championship and earning £6,000 a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and then just giving yourself a platform to think of going again. Anyway, it's like, I think that's the best bit of advice I could give for.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think all the like the top players are just, there's no stone left unturned with these guys, and if you do forget to turn one, then you're going to fall behind.
Totally, 1,000,000%.
That's just so much, even probably from 10 years ago to where it is now. It's just obviously not being in that setting, but you read about it, you hear it, you listen to podcasts and things like that, and it's just night and day.
Yeah,
even just like the mindset work and stuff like that people are doing, they are really just. Even listened to Wayne Rooney on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. He was like getting bloated every week, and like
imagine if he'd had like someone like, I'm just off the top of my head, like, I bet Jack Grealish looks after himself. Like, and I know he goes out and gets pissed at the end of the season, and everybody sees that and they make a big deal of it.
Yeah.
But they don't show you what he's doing. Like for the 11 months of the year, like after training in the gym, like he's not a machine, man.
Yeah,
Do
he
you know what
looks
I mean?
after
It's like,
himself 99%.
I'm just using him as an example, but like even like I know Rashford was poor last year, but he was amazing, like amazing. I bet he looks after himself, like training wise, and like these boys didn't just go and piss with their mates for 3 days.
It's completely
Eat rubbish food all the time. You know what I mean? It might be boring, but at the end of the day,
yeah, kind of. You have to make that sacrifice
Yeah,
if you want
for
to go to the top, don't you? But yeah, so when did you kind of know that this was something you were going to, one, take really seriously, and two, it was maybe going to be like it was going to be a full-time thing?
yeah. I'd probably say I'd actually probably say not that long after it started. Just there was other brands that had started doing it that were full time, and I'm like, well, they've done it, so there's no reason why we can't do it. But without going like telling everybody, oh, they're going to do this and that. It was very slow, like gradual progression, like being patient, and we worked out of Mark's flat for the first 10 months, and my bedroom was just covered in t-shirts and tracksuits and hoodies and stuff like that. To then we got loads of help from Glasgow City Council on our first unit. We signed a 3-year lease on this unit in Abercrombie Street in Brigton, in the city centre in Glasgow, no far from Parkhead. And I think they paid like 70% of our rent for the first year, and it dropped down to 40, then 30. But after year 2, we were like we need another unit. We'd kind of all grown out of it. But that was our amazing start to have kind of almost our rent fully covered, to then give us a platform to then go and hire a couple of staff to then help us like kick on from there. So it was probably when we moved out in Mark's flat. We'd already given up our recruitment jobs, but we were still playing part time. But Mark was really struggling with his hip. He was at Stranraer playing part time. I was at Brecon. If I'm honest, I wasn't really pulling my weight, and I wasn't like doing things that like I was getting injured, and so I wasn't training fully 100%. I was missing training to work, and then Be Inspired was starting to take over my mind.
Yeah.
And, like so, my heart wasn't there. I respect boys that play part time all their days and train like 2 nights a week, play at the weekend, and also like work their 9 to 5 job or run their own business on the side.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of commitment, especially even coaches and managers to do it as
Yeah,
well.
no, for sure. It's like even for me, like obviously watch Forfar and that every now and again. You do see these boys that come in from a full day of labour and then they've got your training. It's just, it's not easy.
And the level like your Brecons or Montrose or Forfar, like it's not just a muck about with your mates either. It's proper. Even the juniors isn't like that. But you'll know as well. Like the coaches and stuff, they want to progress.
Yeah.
So like everybody's like it's serious. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not just you're going for a muck about. Maybe it's a laugh and a joke after the games and training and stuff like that. But everybody wants to take it.
Yeah, I mean you soon get your arse scalped if you don't pull your weight.
Too right. Too right.
So what were a few things that you did as a brand to kind of take it from level 1 to level 2 in terms of
I think the first part was a commitment, the willingness to just like bombard people on social media.
Yeah.
We probably bombard people still now. People are probably like, fuck, they see them all the time, but that's been part of our strategy over the years, is just being relentless in what we do. So constantly making new products in the early years and low quantities that we could get and trying to sell out all the time. And then also using the footballers that we networked with, knew or played against, ultimately boys that were better than me and Mark, using them to promote the stuff. So that's kind of what happened in the early days. We probably don't do it as much now. We probably should. Football lads wearing the product. It just are just sports people in general. We've actually got a new sportswear section coming out over the next 2 weeks. So it's definitely something we're going to look to get back into. It's like using footballers and stuff and sports people to promote the brand a bit more.
I suppose you get asked us on every podcast, but you've got to name drop a few of them. There's a few big names. There's like a lot of South American guys in that as well.
Yeah. So just like the South American boys were really helpful when I don't know why. I don't know if it's like maybe their humble upbringing, but they don't feel like they need anything from it. So I'll use like boys like Richarlison, Firmino, Phil Coutinho. Like these boys were just like buzzing to get stuff. Oh, fine, I'll wear that. Yeah, no problem. Chuck it on. Whereas like maybe boys at home, it's a bit more of a pride thing. It's like, nah, I've got to get like, I need something back for if I'm
like
promoting.
and Prada, so.
Yeah, well, or either that, or I'm promoting your stuff. I need something for that.
Yeah,
and I totally get that. But image is everything. So boys will maybe not promote your stuff out like your backhander or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So that's kind of way this influencer marketing kind of works in the UK, whereas the South American boys are a bit like Luis Suarez was wearing a tracksuit. I think it was the Ballon d'Or or something. Messi was getting presented the Ballon d'Or, and they'd done a split screen, and Suarez couldn't be there. I don't know why. He wasn't at the event, and he's got a hoodie on, and he's talking to Messi like in Spanish and on the screen, and like Messi's got Ballon d'Or holding here, and split screen is
It's a bit of marketing.
It's just like no cost us nothing.
Yeah.
For the sake of like him wearing our top, like it's just shooting him, brilliant.
Yeah,
like, amazing. It's a good feeling as well. Like remember Christmas Eve getting the photo sent to me that Messi was wearing the t-shirt at the airport. He was away to hit on his jump on his private jet back to Buenos Aires for Christmas, and he's got a t-shirt on. Just like what makes him in the morning think, oh, we'll chuck that on quite like that.
Yeah,
it's
it must be a proper pinch me moment when you see stuff like that.
To be fair, it's
no, it's class. There's something you said earlier as well. It's just about like the kind of being in your face on social media. That's something that not necessarily in your face, but just being constantly there and just constantly evolving and changing like that. I think the word is like omnipresence. Like I try to do that as best as I can to stand out amongst like the personal trainers within like Dundee for surrounding areas. Like just be there more and just offer more kind of just different content.
You offer something different. You know what I mean? I think that's important. You've got to. You can't just do what everybody else is doing. We spoke about that this week, is like about designing some new product, and it's like I think the thing that came out of this was like we need to be maybe a wee bit different. Just offer something that we can still do. Like some of the products that we've got here, it's like they sell all year round, but it's nice to have a little bit of sprinkle of magic that maybe somebody else isn't doing. So I think that's key, is like just offering something that people don't have, because that makes you stand out.
Yeah,
I think in the early days of Be Inspired, I think that was why we stood out. Me and Mark were doing a lot of design stuff, and we were literally just making like mad stuff that stood out a country mile. And people were probably like who's wearing that? But I tell you what, there's people loving it.
Was it not like a pug one or something like that?
There was a pug one where that was dedicated to Mark's dog. So Mark's wee Bailey was the mascot for us back in the day.
Okay.
So we ended up getting this little image of the pug where it's smoking a cigar, and it was on the pocket of the white t-shirt.
I'd recall that. I'd recall people wearing that.
So I just like, there was just some mad t-shirts back there. The one with the big football pitch on it, the tactics board on it. Whereas like nowadays, there's a lot of minimal stuff like you'll see on the rails here. It's like, but you also need to have that stuff like this. Like stands out. So.
Has there been like any particular product that you've launched like over the years that has just been like an absolute hit and it's just went through the roof? Other than obviously the tag.
Jeans.
Jeans. Okay.
So we went to Turkey to meet some suppliers. This was after we started using. We were using our factories in Thailand and stuff, but we were limited to our options of what we could make a basic t-shirt. Like that was about it we could do. And instead of importing fabrics in from other countries to do the labour in Thailand where I knew, we got introduced to a few factories in Istanbul. So we went to meet these guys, and one of them was doing denim. So me and Mark had been out the night before, and we were still half cut when we went to the meeting. So he says, "Chuck these on then," and I'm like, "Mate, I'm not wearing them. They're too skinny for me. I can't wear. I don't really like skinny."
Okay.
It's probably because I've got like good at football, big calves and football legs or whatever. So I put these jeans on. He's like, "Mate, they're class." And I'm like, "No, I can't, mate. They're terrible. Can't wear them." He says, "Nah." So we've been seeing a lot of skinny jean trend kind of coming through. This is going back maybe 2016, and we'd already tried jeans before, and they hadn't really sold that well. So like we said to the factory, "Can we take like the minimum order?" She's like, "I'll make you 300 of a colour." I reckon they sold out in about probably 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So like it just kind of like wow, that's mad, I can't believe people, and it was like based on a woman's gene.
Okay,
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? And then from that, I think probably a year later, it went back to the factories, a different factory this time. No, in fact, it's the same factory actually. And we started making like chinos. Remember the Czech chinos?
Yeah.
So we were probably one of the first ones to jump on that trend. And I think over time, this one style sold like 25,000 plus one. It was just like a quite a scale moment for us and going like, yeah, like bottoms is 50% of our business. People in the crowd don't even know that.
No, I've never known.
Like you have all the tops sitting out, but the bottoms are like 50% of our business. So it's kind of core product for us that we do the three or four different styles of jeans now, and all the cargo pants that they offer.
Yeah.
There's fit, there's slim fit, cuff, there's uncuffed, there's leg lengths, there's waist size. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different options because it's such a big business for us.
Did you ever foresee or ever envision it getting to where it is just now, or have you kind of just been like on the road and just holding on the whole
just
way?
like almost like we always say, we've been winging it ever since we started it. There's never been a clear path of this is where we want to go, or like whatever we're doing. Like going back to 2017, 18, like website was going mental. Like we were selling so much product, but it was probably due to we were in a few key wholesale accounts, so like Foot Asylum and ASOS, and we were in with an Irish company, DBA, and it was still quite small wholesale business, and like thinking about like potentially how much you could do worldwide, and then obviously like COVID and Brexit was challenging, really challenging for any business, not just in clothing or whatever. I think it's just challenging for anyone in general, not so much Brexit for like just the general public, but certainly COVID. Whereas the first 6 months of COVID, we probably could have sold 3 times the stock that we had, because people were just sitting in the house on their phones doing nothing. So we were finding, and the fact that the delivery companies were still working, we were working on a skeleton staff in the warehouse and just smashing it like loads, and we couldn't get the product quick enough.
Right.
So we were releasing like short and t-shirt sets, 500 US style, and sold it in 2 days. So we're like we've got to wait like 3 or 4 weeks to try and get the next, because you plan in advance, and right, that 500 of that set in 4 colours will last us 4 weeks. Right, we'll have the next batch coming in 4 weeks. So the next batch is coming in 4 weeks, but the stock's sold out in like a couple of days. So that was a bit of a mad time.
That's what I seem to hear that from almost every single business owner I've ever spoken to on my podcast, is that like they are just all just like winging it as such. I know there's obviously there's strategy and there's system to it, but it's always a case of just see how it goes.
Well, I don't like planning too much. Like I do like structure and strategy is amazing, but you've got to be reactive. If you just stick to that plan the whole time, sometimes it can. And you don't want to set unrealistic targets as well. There's nothing worse than like, because everybody's morale takes a bit of a hit if that's the case. Do you know what I mean? So we've never really set like this is where we want to go until probably the last couple of months. We've the new guy that's coming. He's coming from. He's a Scottish guy. His name's Kirk. So he was the CEO of a brand called Norse Projects and Woodwood, Danish brands. So Danish clothing brand. So he's joined our senior management team as chief commercial officer. So straight off, he's come in and he's like put strategy in place of where we want to go over the next 3 years. So we'd really like to think this is where the scale is going to come from. So first of all, he's come in, like, we need more stores. So and it's not a case of me and Mark probably would have spoke about it for about 3 months before deciding I think we should open another. He's like, no, these are working for us in Dundee and Glasgow. Where can we get, what have we got, what options have we got? Right, let's do it. So it's a case of he's taking a lot of stuff, the admin kind of work off our sides, to then let us do the front end stuff to say, right, let's get this in action. So
I know it's on a slightly less serious note of opening stores, but you know the kind of the TikTok, Instagram stuff that you've been doing with like Sean McDonald, obviously yourself out in Germany. Like, how have you enjoyed doing that?
Do you know what I had to get out of my comfort zone to even doing like podcasts. Probably was the like something I would have been that confident doing maybe like 3-4 years ago, where it's like it's quite natural now. It's quite
you've done enough now that
it's
you
quite easy to do it. But the definitely the TikTok stuff was a bit of I find it tougher because like I'm in my early 40s now.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, and that's one of the reasons that we've kind of brought in like other people into it.
Yeah.
So I don't want like our target audience is kind of probably say 16 to 50. It's quite a big audience we have. Like we've got now as Bee Inspired customers that have been with us for 10, 11 years. But we've also got this new wave of TikTok audience that's like, oh, I want to wear, like the kids have come in the shop and they just want to wear something with a name on it.
Yeah.
Whereas the older generation maybe want something subtle, plainer. So you'll maybe see us covering both bases. There'll be a graphic printed T-shirt alongside a minimal twin set.
I actually spoke to one of my clients today. He's 13. His old man is his early 40s, and both of them have been like buyers.
That's probably our ideal like audience, isn't it? Just like that, dad and son probably, who's still both like wearing adults stuff. We don't do kids wear, but that's probably where somebody that's been on the journey and they've introduced their son, and the son's going, oh, but I've seen all the videos on TikTok. I like that. That's cool. And that's definitely one thing that the shops have done is bridge the gap between online, even although online's it's the internet and TikTok and social media is the internet. There's still like that touch point with people. Well, I don't really like going on the website and buying product, but what they do is they see you online, they see you on TikTok or Instagram, and they go to the stores to buy the product. And come in the store and go, I seen you on TikTok, I seen the videos on Instagram, I love this stuff, it's cool. Whereas they not necessarily would jump from TikTok to the website.
I get that.
So that's kind of one of our strategies, is to have as many stores as possible. Like, so it's just kind of covering all the bases in different parts of the country.
Yeah, so you said obviously Dundee, Glasgow, there's going to be the 4.
You get Glasgow, 4, Leeds, and Nottingham on the way to get announced as well. So the plan for the next 3 years is to looking at expansion and retail. So we've never really done in much wholesale, like I mentioned, wholesale with Foot Asylum and ASOS over time. I definitely think that's where our growth will come from, and we're looking at sales agent in the US and in the EU at the moment. So
when did you break into the US market? Like, how did that happen?
We've always kind of just done some paid ads into but it's such a vast place. It's hard to like really focus. So we kind of just broke out and looked at it from afar. So where is our target? So like New York, Florida, California. It's kind of like, so instead of being a like scattergun effect, it's kind of almost as well like we can target these areas a little bit. So we just kind of look where the audience potentially is. Again, it's something that we might need to expand on with the social media stuff, and the TikTok stuff is actually going to these areas a bit more. In the EU, and then just kind of really getting a bit granular in those areas. So to try and expand. Again, it's like what we do when we open a shop. We'll go like next week. We'll go, if we're opening Leeds, we're going to do all the TikTok content. So
do you ever get like many kind of like? I'm assuming you do just get people to like walk past and they're like, nah. But do you ever get like any major knockbacks from people going that?
People will be like, nah. It's like people don't want to be calm.
I suppose so.
That's just like natural. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's not really anybody that's like that arsey about it. Not that I can think of. Not off the top of my head.
I like the guy in the suit. He got the white trainer.
The white trainer.
I like that one the other day. Was that Sean that did that one?
Yeah, Sean. So Sean's been doing quite a bit. He was at Glasgow 4 yesterday. So that content's getting.
I followed him for a number of years now. I've listened to his podcast for quite a while. Blether,
it's really good. Yeah, he's good. Sean's a good speaker.
He goes into quite a lot of like political subjects and stuff like that. It's not really something that I was overly interested in before I started listening.
Sean's quite intelligent.
Yes.
He comes across quite intelligent.
Yeah.
He's a good lad.
Where are we at? I hadn't looked at my notepad until now. I thought I was doing all right there, but I suppose as any business grows, there's challenges. But has there been any kind of like major? I know you talked about like like COVID and things like that. Was there been any like major challenges or major setbacks for you guys that you kind of got through?
There's always like I always say like, oh, what since what you went for this week, and it's like, oh, I just put in a few fires. There's always little things and bumps along the road, like if it's to deal with production, there's like I say a video comes in and the print's in the wrong position, it's like that needs to get remade. Or one thing about our product, we focus so much on the quality of stuff.
Yeah.
So we put in that extra bit of time. We've got structure in place with the girls behind the scenes that are doing the product development team. So we've got designer, garment techs, and then Steph's the product development manager. So she just kind of like pulls that team together and just makes it sure everything's running sweet on that side. Because at the end of the day, I think the product's king for us.
Yeah.
You can do all like cool marketing and all the social media stuff, but if people don't, if they buy your product, like, that's crap.
Yeah,
like they'll not come back. They'll not come back. So there's like people can go for a real cheap price point if they want, but I always say like you buy cheap, you buy twice. Do you know what I mean?
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's anyone I've ever spoke to, and even just obviously the boys up at the football team and that have always said the quality of the products. Like
like you say, we try and I know I totally get that. Like sometimes people just want to wear the name, so they'll quite happily pay 200 quid for a t-shirt, even if the quality's crap. They didn't really care. Whereas like I can't do that. I've got too much of a conscience. So I don't know. I just think I've got too much.
There was a story about wasn't that a jacket that was like the arms were on backwards or something like that?
We'd ordered. We go to Canton Fair in Guangzhou. We've been twice, and brilliant setup. It's like 5 football pitches, just for talk's sake, undercover. Like 5 football size. It's like these big massive warehouses that are just full of like little booths and all suppliers from all over, and not just China but Vietnam and all this. And you can go in and look for the product yourself. So then basically went into this, and it was a puffer jacket. And the boys were doing puffer jackets, and he's like, when you come to have a look at our stuff, try it on. Here's my business card. Then we give you a business card. Here's mine. Here's my details, and we take notes of what's the minimum order, like what's the average price for something like this. So this puffer jacket had headphones in it, and they were like, and it was kind of probably before the time when like these heated body warmers you could just connect. But these Apple like type headphones were like, you just plug it, we put it in your phone in your pocket, and they were part of the jacket. And I thought it was a cool idea. Let's get this guy supplier's details. So he sampled for us, and we're not with the headphones. We're just doing a basic jacket to start with. And I don't know why, but we ordered 4 jackets, and we ordered 1,000 each. Like, I don't know. I think that was maybe the minimum order. But honestly, the shipment. So there's a process where we'll get our first sample. We'll get a pre-production sample. So once any amendments have been done, the pre-production sample will come in. Right, you're cool with this product. This is how it's going to look when we go to bulk. So we're going to make the bulk production. You're cool with it? Yeah, we're cool with that. So then you get a photo shoot sample after that. So the photo shoot sample is basically off the production line, and then you'll get a shipment sample. So this is what's getting shipped. You're cool with that? We're going to ship it now, because when it goes on the boat or a sea freight or a rail or air, if you need it quick, you're cool with that. So we're like, yeah, everyone's fine. So then I arrived for bulk production, and then the girls would, as soon as bulk production lies in the warehouse in the UK, we all have a team. The girls will quality check it. So they'll just randomly go into different boxes and pull. So then they'll check. So they open the first one, stitching's a bit dodgy stitching here. Try another one. By the way, Mark, go and try that on. And he put it on, and the arms were upside down. Basically, one arm, he zipped it up, and he put his arm in. He's like, what's going on here? Put his other one, and he's like the arms just stitched on back to front. So
that's a
the whole shipment was knackered. It was like 40 grand, and like we were in a mad growth period at that point, and even like that, you're like, then the factory disappeared. So we lost the money. Like you could go through lawyers and put out thingy, but lawyers are so expensive. You almost is like, it was pretty much good to take
more
that
hassle than it's worth, probably.
It was great. It could potentially cost us another 10 grand to try and even claim anything back. So we then have to pay to get them disposed of as well, because you can't, like, if you're a big brander on the sleeve at the time, and it was a case of if they get out there and they're like, that's your reputation, you can't just give them away, because then people see that as your brand.
Yeah, you need to get those in a fire somewhere.
Yeah, so like there's like sustainable like methods you can use, and that's what somebody comes along and picks them up, and you have to dispose, you pay for them, pay for that to happen.
So really think about that.
But nah, that was probably off the top of my head, that was probably the most challenging thing. Like Brexit's been a nightmare. Like I don't think the government, they've brushed that under the carpet, and how little's been said about who is actually benefited. I don't know anybody that says, well, it's benefited me, it's been class.
Yeah, I'm yet to hear it.
I've not heard it. So just like anytime a customer from Germany or Ireland, or like Ireland's so close, and it's like we can't supply, anybody orders over 150 euros worth of goods, there's a 12% duty tax on it.
All right.
So if someone orders the tracksuit and a t-shirt and the price is on 50 quid, then 12% duties, and we've got to pay that. So we have to increase our prices to cover that. Which evidently, like the customers say, well, I'm just going to shop local because I can get maybe a local brand at a cheaper price. So all it's doing is like the cross-border, like e-commerce business has just went, it's pretty much there's no down the tubes, because we've still got customers that'll come back still again, like, I love the quality, I don't care what it costs, but shipping costs went through the roof off the back of it. It was costing us for DPD and £4 before we even started. Do you know what I mean?
1 second. Had a pause of some sort on here. I don't know what the hell happened there, but
yeah, we've had a nightmare with DPD. So no, I wouldn't blame DPD actually. I just like before the parcels even sent us a £4 like customs Brexit charge. So before you even like, so if you go and charge the customer £10 for delivery to Germany and £4 the Brexit, like are they going to pay £14 for a £30 t-shirt?
something that in itself is just enough to kind of take you back off the website,
Yeah,
isn't
totally,
it? Which
totally.
is
So it's frustrating. Probably, well, we were probably about 60% UK business, 40% rest of the world. Is probably back to about 85% UK, 15% rest of the world just now. So, yeah, shipping costs have just gone through the roof, and the fuel surcharges and all that. And so, but there's ways around this. We could open a store in Amsterdam and send website orders for there, and there'd be no duties. And
yeah.
I think it's just stuff that like we're going to need to navigate.
Yeah, and you obviously have been navigating these different challenges.
It just costs money. At the end of the day, it costs money to set
Yeah,
these warehouses and things. It's like you have to almost rein it back in and go, what's our priorities right now?
Yeah.
Like you running a business isn't just the case. I'd love to do all these fun things and sponsor like pool parties and footballers and do that, but you have to almost like pick your battle sometimes what you can do.
100%. So, I mean, I think we've probably already touched on it already in terms of like what's next for you guys, and in terms of the growth of the business. I suppose it's just the stores. Is there anything else that you're kind of looking at? Or
yeah, I'd probably just say stores and looking at key retailers. I know people maybe not like that because it's like maybe an independent business. They quite like it being independent, but these things would definitely help brand exposure if, like, say, Fraser's Group or flannels or any clothing. People like these that could really excel in your business. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, it's definitely something that it would definitely help brand perception for sure. Being in these kind of key retailers, so it's something we're working on just now, and with that we need to plan our range a little bit more. So we're starting to work on autumn winter 2025 right now.
Okay.
So we've not even got to winter 24, but we're already working on. So our budgets, our orders are all in place for this year already.
Yeah.
Everything's scheduled for the rest of the year.
That's one thing I didn't actually understand about clothing was before I kind of listened to some of you guys speaking podcasts and things like that, was like how it makes sense, but how far in advance things need to be thought of and put in place in terms of getting your orders. So
you almost have to work back the way. So say, for example, like October this year, we'll start working on our outerwear for next winter.
Okay, yeah.
So you actually work, because the jackets take so long to manufacture, you have to then have your orders in place for January and they
Yeah.
get shipped. So our jackets for this year are on the way.
Okay.
They'll be here probably in the next month.
Okay.
And it's like, everybody's still wearing the t-shirt just now. So it's
Yeah.
like you've almost got to work in reverse. So then when it's cold here in winter, we're then having to start thinking about summer.
Yeah.
So like our twin sets absolutely smashed it. Like even like these, what I've got in store here, I don't have these online. So
Right, okay.
they're kind of done. They're like sold it online. Like
Totally.
so, the shops are just selling through what they've got. So it's like we know next summer that this works. So we can have, instead of 3 colours, you can have 5 colours, but you
Yeah.
could then have the same like pattern, like this, what we call a pattern. It's like the same block, the same fit of t-shirt and shorts, but just change maybe the fabrics and the different colours and stuff. So these are things that we can go, well, we know they work, we can back into that for next summer. So you can be able, but it's like -3 outside when we're placing these orders. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it must be hard to kind of get in the mindset of what's actually going to work. But yeah, to be fair, like I usually finish with like a few quick fire questions, just the same as most podcasts would do. But I feel like we went through pretty much the majority of them. One question, just from my kind of own point of view, like I'm generally, the reason I'm asking you all these questions about business and stuff like that, just because it genuinely intrigues me. I'm not thinking about starting a clothing brand, but what would you actually say to someone like today starting a clothing brand? I mean, it must be much different. Well, maybe I don't know how different it is from when you first started.
If I was starting a clothing brand today, well, I think, see if you're confident on camera, do that.
Yeah.
Start with your story of how and document everything that you're going to do from like right from the very beginning, from like starting your name, your logo, your first samples, sourcing suppliers, you document everything because people buy into that. People can then follow your journey and almost like, and I think that's what's maybe happened with Be Inspired over the last maybe 2 years is because they're seeing our guys' faces on the like and what they can almost like, it's like a day in the life a little bit. They kind of know what we're up to, or like if we're on the street or who we're working. If Sean McDonald's doing stuff, TikToks, and like they can almost feel like, oh, that product's just come out now, or they're opening a store here, or why they in Leeds? Oh, they're opening a store there. Like I get it. So it's like it's just trying to be. I think people like real stuff, and I think that maybe comes across on the. I'm not saying we're like sound guys or whatever, but I think when me and Mark and any of my team, like we're real people, we're just normal like guys. I think hopefully, I'm hoping that comes across that like we're quite down to earth in what we're doing, and we're lucky, we're fortunate to have a job where we're actually excited to go to the office on a Monday morning. Well, hopefully everybody.
I honestly I can agree with that more because I just recall when you guys went to obviously the early days of Open Goal when you guys went on there, and that was kind of my first click on like Be Inspired, like on the website. That was my first click on there. After that, I obviously knew of the brand and things like that, but I hadn't bought anything since until that moment. And I think again, just reflecting back on my kind of own journey over the past few years with starting my personal training business, it's just anytime with kind of this mentorship thing, and that's it. He keeps rattling that off. It's like people buy you, like people will buy people.
$1,000,000%. It's just like. I like to say, it's just like it's being real. People can buy into that. And the thing is, they either like you or they don't.
Yeah.
But it's like you could be Marmite. Like
that's good as well.
And that's going to be maybe a good thing. It's like you can't please everybody. I think that's like one thing. So if you're consistent and like with what you're doing as well, like I think things can work. And that's what I would say. Anybody wanting to start a clothing brand or a business is just like try and be social media savvy. There's so much info out there. If you didn't know how to do it, you can research it and look it up on YouTube and stuff like that. And we've got quite a few guys in our team, which is really positive. It's like they're all self-taught on what they do.
Yeah.
They maybe come in. It's actually a chat I've had with a few people this week. It's like my job description is this, but I actually do this because I've learned how to do that, and like that's progression. Do you know what I mean? That's not just like somebody just coming in and going, well, that's not my job. Somebody else can do that. It's literally other people like, and it's key staff in our business that are like that mean the world to us that can actually do these little these extra jobs, and I think that's important for anybody that's hiring that maybe further on from the startup is like looking for, just because somebody's got qualifications, it doesn't always mean they're the best candidate.
Yeah, no,
So
for sure.
you can definitely bring people in that are willing to learn, and sometimes that's more valuable than just hiring people that's got like been at uni, got a degree, or
that's
got a degree
exactly
with anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. What's your favourite bit of clothing? You personally, your favourite bit of clothing that you guys have ever produced, or even something that you wear a lot?
I wear a lot of black.
Yeah.
I don't know, I might come across actually. So I do. It's my. Do you know what it is? I actually said it to Mark yesterday, my business partner. It says we should maybe actually go and buy. We discussed it. We should actually go to the shops maybe and buy other stuff, because sometimes you can just get caught. Because I can just go to the warehouse and I'll get the samples and stuff like that. So, I really like. I wear a lot. That the cargos I wear every day, but it's maybe not necessarily the ones that smash it online. I like kind of like sportier fabrics.
Yeah.
And like I always like kind of that, because I'm from a sport background. I kind of like sportier products.
Yeah.
But again, like I didn't really go out much. I'm not a big drinker, so it's not like I need clothes to go like out all the time. Maybe if it'd maybe be different if I was like still in my 20s or whatever. I would maybe probably be, a lot of the time me and Mark make stuff that we like.
Yeah.
So and how we started was always like making stuff that boys were doing in the dressing rooms.
Aye.
So maybe because we're not in the dressing rooms, maybe the style does change a little bit, but having like the younger guys that are working in the shop, it's always good to see what they're wearing as well.
Yeah.
So there's 4 lads that are working in the Dundee store. It's like the age between 16 and 21.
Yeah.
And like Glasgow store's the same. Like you can kind of get a feel what they're wearing as well, what they're wanting. And especially when you see a product we put in the store, straight away they're like, oh, I love that. I'm using my allowance to get that. That's class. And you can kind of get an idea what they're after. So it's good like that. But I don't really have a favourite Bee Inspired product off the top of my head.
So one thing I like about the cargos is like obviously we have the training kit for the kit for football, is you can literally just like fling off the top end and stick on another t-shirt and you're straight on your night out.
Aye, that's what the boys do.
The joke about it, well, we've all done it a million times. It's literally just change the t-shirt and you're away.
Yeah, that's class.
But yeah, mate, look, we're pretty much at the end of the podcast, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate you letting me come in here and see the store for the first
I
time.
really like to see like people like start their own business at a young age.
Yeah.
I just like, it's just, I think people think, oh, you've got your own business, you must be a millionaire. It's not like that. It's
like you've said, it's just challenges of the whole
challenges, but it can be really rewarding when it's successful, but it also is really stressful when it's not. And I never moan about it because I've got like my own freedom. So if I want to wake up at 8:30 in the morning, I'll wake up at 8:30 in the morning. Whereas like if I want to work at 9 o'clock at night, like last night I was doing going through CVs and job applications for Leeds at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then today that's what I done before I came up here, was emailed people that selected to interview next week. So that's just like something that I've not done since, well, to be fair, I didn't even interview for the Dundee store. Well, I did, but the guys in the Dundee store, I played football all their dads.
Yeah.
So just hired another one today actually.
Yeah. That's close.
So you know who it is. So Jack. Well, he's got a job. So he's starting next week. So
good.
And then obviously there's like Paul Clark's son Liam, and then Miller Gibson's as well.
Oh, right, okay.
He plays in the team.
He plays for.
So he's working here, and then my son Owen, he works here, and then Jack, I played football with his dad, who I'm still really close pals with. So
yeah,
it's good to have boys in. I know and trust in the Dundee shop because it's obviously local to me. It's kind of an easy one. But, the Glasgow store is the same. Like Kira that works, she's kind of supervisor. So she helped me set up the Dundee one. She's coming to Leeds to help with the Leeds one as well. Her dad played football with Mark, Steven Swift.
Okay.
I think he's manager of Bonnie, right? Broom. Who's the open goal team? It was the open goal team.
Yeah, Broomhill.
He was manager of Broomhill. I think he's away for there now, but was just using like to initially set up the stores was people that we knew.
Yeah,
Kind of
that
trusted.
obviously exactly trust initially.
Yeah.
It's the best thing.
So the Leeds one will be a bit different. So that's why we've got interview. Don't know anybody. It's going to be a fresh start. So we'll see how that goes.
No, well, good luck with a lot of it.
Cheers.
Thanks for
Appreciate
your
that.
time.
No, you're welcome. Cheers.
Good. Appreciate that, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Here when that thing popped up there. It was when,
Yeah, you can edit into that for me.